Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Leenie took me somewhere interesting today. First of all, say hi to Leenie.
Hi.
Had no idea this existed, so we're just on this beautiful farmland walk here in Duncan, and you can come upon this abandoned mansion here. When you walk in, you said you filmed a music video in here?
Yeah, with my friend Philo.
You keep going in and it just gets darker and creepier. I was just saying to Leenie, I know that this place is abandoned, but I still feel like that's not an excuse to leave your garbage inside it, because there's a lot of spray cans and coffee and yeah, it keeps going this way. Absolutely wild. So I've been told that somebody owns this land with maybe plans to redevelop it someday. They clearly have not yet, so somebody's paying taxes to keep this abandoned building here. From down here, this place, I was just telling Leenie, it gives me Hollywood Hills mansion vibes. We are nowhere near. Look, a piece of fencing has fallen a bit of the ways down there. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to LA, but this is what the hills are. They're just little houses, usually on their own little hill. It looks actually exactly like this. Crazy. But yeah. Amazing that this just got left abandoned. You'd think someone would love to live there. Got lots of other sheds and stuff on property. Got a hot tub out here. We walked by a big shed that I didn't even notice until I was up here from a higher vantage point, because it's so overgrown down there. Driveway is also overgrown by a lot of shrubs. So here's the problem. I want to explore this place all day, but I also have a limited time for jamming.
Okay.
So
Let's jam.
we're gonna also, we're out here, well, I'm out here on tour. Lenie's living in the area, but yeah, we're gonna work on some tunes. Haven't gotten a chance to do that for a while, so that'll be nice. And picked a pretty cool spot.
You sure did.
It's awesome. Wish I knew more about like the history of this place and when it was abandoned, because like I said, it's so hard to tell. Certain properties I know can start looking like this in just a couple of years, because people are like, yeah, we'll kick out all the drywall and
It's got to be over 10.
oh yeah, probably. So we had a nice time here at this abandoned place. Sorry I didn't get to film more, but we got the time into, I think it's fair to say that we will have a pretty cool collab song coming up very soon.
Oh yeah, we had a really good writing session. It was awesome.
And yeah, we're pinky promising to become weekly songwriting buddies.
Pinky promising.
You know what I like about you? You went in for the pinky promise before you knew what I was going to say. That's called trust.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Best friends are for, man.
Right? We got to get one more shot of just the view of this. I always think when I'm out here and stuff just about like, I don't know, whatever family or whoever owned here probably standing out here when it was a little less overgrown. Who knows when that was?
Oh, it's so beautiful, eh?
You were really excited that there was a totally mossy, overgrown like extension cord, and then we couldn't find it.
I think I don't.
Might have been plugged in here.
It was this one.
Someone stripped it for copper. Yeah, you can tell. Got clipped. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I know. Oh, the whole house, and that's what I was most excited about.
I know, but yeah, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So sad. Any urban exploration friends know anything more about this? Let me know in the comments. And the tour shall continueth. It was so good to see you. Well, that was pretty cool, but now I've made it up island a little bit to Nanaimo, and since I have a free day here today with no gigs, I thought I'd show you around some pretty cool historic things to see here in town. First of all, the Painted Turtle hostel that I stayed in tonight. First of all, it was very nice, but also, according to this, it used to be the commercial hotel all the way back in 1913. So that's pretty awesome, but actually it's pretty far from the oldest hotel here in town. Look at this. This says, drink beneath the town's largest mirror. In 1889, Nanaimo had no shortage of bars. In fact, one side of this street was almost entirely saloons, but none was half as grand as the Palace Hotel, located up the crooked street here, and yes, it is still there. This thing is so wild to look at as it reveals itself as we walk up here. The Palace Hotel from 1889, still here, and look at the beautiful word mark up there. The Palace Hotel. Beautiful. I'm gonna step into the bar for just a moment here. Try to see if I can see any cool history. Just looks like a fairly standard bar on the inside, but still cool. Been here 100 and, let me just do quick math, 133 years. So yeah, I've wandered down to the water here on Front Street, and I'm just gonna show you guys some of the very cool historic buildings on this block, some of the ones that interest me the most. And the first one is this. It was built in the late 19th century here. It has sat here since about 1895, 1896. It's got those distinctive copper and brick spires there overlooking the water, and I think that this building across the way is very interesting as well. It's clearly, I wonder if it's going to be demolished here. I would imagine it is. I did some research, and it's an auto body shop from 1937, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like one of those old, like Route 66 style auto stops from back in the day. And yeah, truly a remnant of time gone by, I guess, but looks like it was functioning as a sort of collision repair place until semi-recently. You can see some remnants on the sign here, but yeah, allegedly built in 1937. We've also got some law offices that have also appeared to have been or become vacant. I don't know if people still live in there. I see the lights are on, but when you go to the front door of this law office, which is labeled as 1927, which is probably the build year, unless I'm dumb and it's just an address. But yeah, the law office is no longer in here according to this sign, but it does appear to still be occupied here. I'm gonna move on from the courthouse here to some other pretty cool buildings and other just cool historic sites over this way. By far the coolest building that I've seen several times here in Nanaimo but have never gotten a chance to learn the history of is the Bastion. I really want to make a better video of this place sometime I get the chance to visit on a weekend, because unfortunately it is only open for visiting on the weekend. Today is a Tuesday, so I will not be able to go through, but I could not believe that this is a little military outpost that has been here since 1853, so before Canada was a country. This bastion was here. I know they do a little cannon firing ceremony as part of the museum when it is open. Those cannons are just across the way here. I'll see if I can't learn anything about them. Here they have a centennial time capsule celebrating 100 years since BC became a province of Canada, that is apparently going to be opened on the 200th birthday of the province all the way in 2071, but we've just passed the halfway point for that, I suppose. Yeah, such a striking building here, of course, with the flagpole on top. You got a cool basement entrance here, and yeah, I would love to come here someday when the museum is open. Apparently, the wood that was used to build this is original from the 1800s, and inside they've decorated it to look like it would have when it was a Hudson's Bay Company building in the first 10 years of its existence. So they've got some displays of the fur trade and I think just what they figure the building would have looked like during its first decade of operation. I learned a little bit more about the Bastion just now. Some of the timber has been replaced. It was renovated in 2010, but the history of what has happened to this building and its renovations and its changes obviously dates back to the very beginning of it. It was actually only used by the Hudson's Bay Company for a few years after they lost their exclusive trading rights in the area. They sold off a lot of their property, and this was sold to the local government by the 1860s. The government used it for a number of purposes, including a temporary jail in the 1860s, and they would continue to use it for the next couple of decades. It was nearly demolished in 1891, but this building was saved back then, and it's crazy that this building was saved from being demolished, and even that was 130 years ago. And in 1891, this bastion was moved from its original location, so it was not originally here. I would have thought it would have been here. Great spot on the water, but no, it was somewhere else. It was moved across Front Street to a new location in 1891, and even that was not here because it was moved a second time in 1971, and it was purchased by the Native Sons organization that wanted to preserve it for historical reasons in 1904. So this building was considered historically significant 120 years ago, so that tells you how old it is. It is truly crazy to come across a building of this age here. Here in North America, you don't see buildings that are over 150 years old so much anymore. Just a little correction, apparently it was actually moved in 1974, not 71, to its final place here, overlooking the water here on this side of Front Street. I will do my very best to come to Vancouver Island on a weekend someday and explore the inside for you people. But yeah, if you're out in Nanaimo, come do what I wasn't able to and come see this museum. I'd love to. Yeah, been used for a lot of purposes throughout its life, but apparently, yeah, inside the ground floor here is decorated like a Hudson's Bay Company trading post. The second floor, the wider one up here, shows off the building's military capabilities with tanks that would have been pointing out those windows. And then you can go up to a third story as well, which replicates its original use as a Hudson's Bay Company storage facility. And then outside the building you can find these cannons. I wish I knew more about the history of these cannons. Again, it's probably something that I could learn if I visited the museum. I do believe that these are actually fired with blanks, obviously, as part of like demonstrations and such. What is this here? Wow, interesting. There's a little maker's mark here of Bryson Robert Lawson Boat Works. Same one on this. Yep. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know how old these cannons are. I don't know if these are 19th century. Oh, did I just get my answer? It says BP and Co. 9123. So I'm not sure if that means that it was manufactured September 1st, 1923. This one has the exact same name, so or the exact same matrix numbering, or maybe January 9th, 23. Again, let me know in the comments if you know. Maybe it's 1823. Who knows? Yeah, no idea. But yeah, very cool history nonetheless. And then I want to see if I can learn anything about this old anchor right next to it. It does appear that there's a historical plaque. That's a good thing. So it says, this hand-forged anchor exhibited here stands as a testimonial to the men and ships that sailed this area, providing important links to trade and communication to world markets. and it says it came from one of the largest ships to load coal in the boat harbor located 5 miles south of here. Wow, I just looked it up. Apparently in 1985 this was salvaged from the harbor, and it's believed to be from the SS Northland, although they can't know for sure. Legend has it that they dropped anchor one time during a storm and it got caught and they lost it, and it wasn't salvaged until 1985, and you can see the rust and damage here. But yeah, imagine finding this long lost century-old anchor just in the harbor. That is fascinating. This thing is absolutely huge and clearly from a bygone era. Wow, I did not know that Tommy Douglas was in Parliament here in Nanaimo. He was a member of Parliament for Nanaimo, Cowichan, and the islands in the 1970s here. Wow. Of course, I believe he was from Manitoba, the father of the universal healthcare system we have in Canada, the original leader of the new Democratic Party. And yeah, as this says, in 2004 he was named the greatest Canadian of all time. Tommy Douglas, obviously, in my mind, worthy of such an honor for the work he did to preserve our healthcare system. And I had no idea about his Nanaimo connection. And there are many other cute old buildings here down Commercial Street. I'm not going to get too in-depth into the history of these buildings because, well, there's a lot of them here. They all look, to my eyes, to be from at the very least, pre-1950 era, and some of them probably date back into the 19th century here. Victoria and Nanaimo have such beautiful little old town areas here. This appears to me to be like an old Masonic lodge. It says the Ashla Lodge, AF and AM. Not sure what exactly that means, but yeah, often old town centers of buildings have an old Masonic lodge somewhere. Check this out as I pass over the beautiful Pride crosswalk. Check out the Great National Land building here. Is anybody else getting Gringotts Bank vibes from this? It was apparently opened in 1914 as the Frontier Building and was originally the home to the Canadian Bank of Commerce, and it was given its current name about 50 years into its history in 1963. It doesn't appear to be used for anything. In fact, it says space for lease on the front door. That would be an interesting structure to lease out. It's actually quite a small building, but it's so grand when it comes to its front facade. Here's a little history plaque. The Frontier Building, this structure has been designated a heritage building all the way back in 1975. So again, it's been a building that's been considered historically significant for the better part of 50 years already. Side entrance here, a little bit more history over here. This says that it's been given an award for outstanding restoration in 1997. Oh look, it looks like it was most recently occupied by Coast Realty, but I think they're not in there right now. In keeping with the mood of prosperity reflected in the substantial structures of the turn-of-the-century Commercial Street, the Bank of Commerce built this imposing edifice. So yes, it's funny that I said Gringotts because it was most certainly a bank at one point. Wish I could tell you the history of this thing. Someone has parked their sweet old Ford pickup here right next to the building. If anyone can tell me anything about what year this might be, please let me know. It doesn't have any collector plates on it or anything, but man, is it ever beautiful. There has been a car show down in Victoria these last couple days, so I've seen tons of historic cars out and about, but that's the first one I've seen here in Nanaimo. Anyways, y'all, I'm sure I've only scratched the surface of some of the history that can be seen here in downtown Nanaimo, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope this has inspired you to maybe go out and see some of the sights, walk down the nice little history walk here in Nanaimo, and hopefully you get the chance to do it on a Saturday or Sunday when that Bastion Museum is open. I know there is I believe, a military museum here in town. I didn't have time to visit that, but yeah. I've been to Nanaimo so many times and never really got a chance to explore Commercial and Front Street properly, but so glad I did. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't know, I'm a musician. You can check out my description for links to where you can find my music, where it's sold or streamed online. Like this video if you liked what you saw. Subscribe to my channel if you've been enjoying my videos, and you can ring the notification bell too if you want to be notified whenever I upload a new video, which should hopefully be pretty soon. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Got one more day on the island before I head home, and there'll be one more video to post probably tomorrow from this little trip. It's been such a blast. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all again tomorrow.